My name is Mark with Scared Shiftless, SoCal, California. And what we have here is an early Ford Woody. Our customer actually has an oil leak on this engine, and we found out what the problem is. And I'm going to show you how to properly install a valve cover gasket without having any leaks. In our inspection, what we noticed is that the valve cover was blown out in the edge right here. Also, whoever installed this actually put in a hard rubber gasket. It probably came with these aftermarket valve covers. We actually found some replacement valve covers that actually have a larger lug here. However, there's problems with the aftermarket valve covers when you go to put them on. You have to check the fit right here in this area where it meets the contact of the intake manifold. Let's take a detailed look and let's go ahead and modify our valve cover. So we're just going to set that on there. And we're going to go ahead and check here. Our replacement valve cover actually hits our intake runners. If we raise this up where it's supposed to be to line up the bolts, you can see that it actually hits. So what we're going to do is we're going to take a marker and mark that area front and rear. And then what we'll do is remove our valve cover and we'll grind that back, file it back, and make it look nice. And then we're going to go ahead and recheck it. So let's just go ahead and install our valve cover here. We're going to put it up in the area, check, make sure. So we relieve that area, and now our valve cover bolts line up. We're sitting nice and flush and flat. Let's go ahead and I'm going to show you the proper way to install valve cover gasket with no leaks. Absolutely no leaks. The first thing we want to do is use a good cork gasket. This gasket here has a series of holes for the early Corvette style, early Chevy style. We're going to want to put that at the top because it overlaps at the bottom and we don't want to have a leak at that area. If we put this at the bottom, we could get a leak there. So we're going to put that double hole at the top. This one's a little thicker. Felpro makes a thin one and a thick one. We like to use the thick ones. The rubber gasket is just a no-no. It's just too hard. They're too hard to seal and junk. What we want to do is glue our valve cover gasket to our valve cover. And we're going to do that using spray adhesive. You can use weather strip glue, you can use contact cement, anything that's going to allow it to dry and stay there. So we're just going to lightly spray that. We're going to spray our valve cover gasket, our valve cover also. We're going to let that tack up. The most important thing to do or not do is do not use silicone. What happens is when you use silicone, you have two surfaces that pinch and it starts pulling the gasket down because it slides and it doesn't fit properly. Also, you only want to glue the side that is actually on the valve cover itself. So we're going to take that, we're going to line it up, we're going to make sure that our valve cover gasket is nice and firm. We're not even going to attempt to install this until after it's set. We're going to push down on it a little bit. We're going to make sure it's set. No glue on both sides, one side only. Let's go ahead and install our valve cover. So what we want to do is start all of our bolts first before we tighten any single one. We want to make sure that they're all snug. We're not going to tighten them yet. We just want to bring them down so we feel some resistance. Once we feel the resistance, we're just going to tighten them up half a turn, go to the top, half a turn, half a turn, go to the bottom, half a turn, half a turn or so. Same thing with the top. We want to feel them stop. Like right about there, they start to stop. On that one, right there on that one, right there, right there. About 25 foot-pounds of torque is all it needs. Do not over-tighten them. You can push the gasket out, you can break the valve cover, or even strip the bolts. So there you have it. Couple things to remember. Check your valve cover fit to your intake runners. Use a quality gasket, and for heaven's sakes, do not use silicone. I'd rather shave my head with a cheese grater than to use silicone. Going to cause you nothing but troubles. And glue one side of the gasket only. Make sure it's dry and firm and it won't move, and you'll be oil leak free. My name is Mark, and I want to thank you for watching.